Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa khususan ala sayyidil awwalin wal akhirin wa khatamin nabiyyin wal mursalin sayyidina wa nabiyyina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallama tasliman kathiran kathira. عن عبد الله وأنس رضي الله تعالى عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الخلق عيال الله فأحب الخلق إلى الله من أحسن إلى عياله صدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Respected elders, young brothers and sisters, and my friends. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gathered myself and you all in His house for Salatul Jummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our gathering in His house, and may Allah make it source and means of our forgiveness. Respected listeners, I have taken a sport of a hadith in order to talk before you. Our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this very hadith has classed the entire makhluk of Allah. Every living being has been classed and declared as the family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's wordings are al-khalqu iyalullah. The makhluk, the creation, every living being, human beings, animals, birds, insects, anything that has a soul. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying they are all family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this may creep in your mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't have any family. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have any children. When we say the word family, what comes in your mind? Someone has a wife, someone has children, someone has relatives. But Allah Almighty, lam yalid wa lam yulad. He doesn't have a wife, neither he gave birth to anyone, no, he was given birth. He has no family at all. But then why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam classed the entire living being as the family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In order to explain me and you, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used the word iyal, the family, which means a father, a husband in the household upon whom there is a responsibility of his dependents. When a father or a husband becomes responsible for the sustenance, for the needs of his dependents, he is responsible. It is his responsibility to provide the livelihood to his family members because they are his family. Similarly, the entire makhluk, the entire living being, their sustenance is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the sustainer. So in that sense, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam classed and declared all the makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala his family. And then Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, فَأَحَبُّ الْخَلْقِ إِلَى اللَّهِ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ إِلَى إِيَالِهِ. The one who is good, who is kind to the entire makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he is most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In this dunya, when someone is good to our family, how are we going to treat him? We will have love for this person who treats our family nicely, who is good towards our family. Similarly, he who treats the family of Allah, the makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nicely, then he becomes beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he is most liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As in this dunya, when someone treats our family members nicely, he is liked by us. Similarly, when we will treat the family of Allah, the makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nice and good, then we will be liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let alone the human beings. The human beings out of the makhluk of Allah, they are the most honorable makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want anyone to cause any type of harm, any animals or even the birds or even the insects. And whosoever will be good to them, then he will be most liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that very hadith, very famous hadith, which you have heard many a times from the ulama ikram, or you may have read it in the books. That very man, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he related the story of a man in the earlier communities. And it was the custom of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to relate the stories and the incidents of the past community so that we learn a lesson from it. A man, a traveler, heading towards his destination, and on his way, while he was walking under the hot sun, he became very thirsty. Extremely, he was thirsty, and he was in need of water. He looked around, so he couldn't find a water. Then eventually, he saw a well, and there was no bucket or a rope in order to draw the water from it. So eventually, he had to descend the well. And he drank the water, and safely he came out. Now, it was a demand of this situation that he should walk on. He should head towards his destination. Because as travelers, what is in their mind? We need to get to our destination. This is a nature. Every person who is traveling, who is in the state of a journey, he wants to quickly get to his destination. Now here it was a demand of this, that he should go, walk out and go quickly. But what he sees a dog. A dog, due to severe and extreme thirst, licking the wet earth. And then this comes in his mind. Just earlier on, I was in this very same situation. And this is also, like myself, makhluk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now again, he had to take this difficult task again to go into the well again. It wasn't an easy task. It wasn't an easy thing to go down again into the well and descend to the well. But anyhow, he bore this difficulty. He tolerated everything for the sake of Allah. He went down and he had nothing to put water in. So what did he do? He thought of an idea. He said, well, the weather socks the shoes he was wearing, he put the water in it and he held it with his teeth and he came out. And he gave it to the dog and the dog drank the water. Allah Almighty appreciated his amal, his act. So much so, it was revealed to our beloved Prophet ﷺ regarding this man that Allah Almighty forgave him. It doesn't say he was a very pious person. There's no mention that he was a righteous person. Just one of the human being, one of the believing man. But Allah Almighty forgave him just because he fed an animal. On another occasion, our Prophet ﷺ, once he entered a garden of an Ansari Sahabi. And as he was walking around, a camel, upon saying the Prophet ﷺ came running to Prophet ﷺ, and it began to shed the tears. Our Prophet ﷺ gently, he rubbed his hand on his forehead and he stopped crying. And then Prophet ﷺ said, who is the owner of this camel?
सादक के लिए दुआ करना 30 पौंड मस्जिद गिरे इस बीमार है
So Prophet ﷺ, he said, Man Rabbu hadha jamal? Who is the owner of this camel? The young Sahabi came forward and said, O Prophet of Allah, I am the owner. He said, you know what, this camel is complaining to me about you. As Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَعُلِّمْنَا مَنْطِقَ الطَّيْرِ. They were the prophets of Allah, father and son. And they said, we have been taught the language of the birds. And here the Prophet ﷺ was a miracle of Rasulullah ﷺ to understand the language of the birds and the animals. Even on one of the occasions, a bird came and complained to Prophet ﷺ. So here the camel is complaining to Rasulullah ﷺ. The complaint was, O Prophet of Allah, he keeps me hungry and he takes a lot of work from me. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, oh you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made you the master of this animal, the owner of this animal. Now you need to take care of this animal. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1400 years before, today the animal welfare associations and the organizations saying, we should look after the animals. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given us the rights. He taught us the rights of the animals 1400 years before. He said, you go and look after the animal and don't take too much work from your camel. It's complaining to me. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hadith, he says, Ar-Rahimun yarhamu Rahman. Those who show mercy to others, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers mercy on them. Irhamu man fil ard, yarhamkum man fis sama. Those who are on this planet, show mercy to them, compassion to them. Then the one who is in the heavens, he will show mercy to you. So my respected elders and brothers, as I said, every makhluk of Allah subhanahu, human beings, animals, birds, they are all family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the sustainer. He is responsible for everyone's rozi and their sustenance and their livelihood. So in that sense, Allah is saying every makhluk is family of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whosoever will be kind and will be good to the family of Allah, to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will be much liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he will be beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now I will ask you to stand up for the students.